One is the loneliest number that you ever did. See, why y'all gonna make me feel bad on days that are not Valentine's Day? What is this? Come on, like what? What are we doing? I had to run that dungeon all by myself. All by myself. Don't wanna be. Actually, I did want to be. I didn't feel like doing the party matching thing and finding somebody, so I did do the love dungeon, which sounds. I don't think I'm supposed to be calling it that. It's what I'm calling it though. I'm doing that by myself, or I did it by myself. Um, I guess you just have to learn to love yourself. I don't know. Da-da-da-da-dush. So there are some known issues with the patch. Okay, server patch will be applied after completing exiting and reconnecting to the game. Server patch will be applied sequentially. Okay, so fix an issue where characters are moved to an abnormal location upon reconnecting after entering. Okay, there was a weird thing where like I also had this like super up close on me camera that would never back out, like this actually, and it would never back out, and then I couldn't see in the fight. That was kind of weird. Let's see. So at this moment, I am working on Drake and Slater. If I finish up Drake's masteries, that means that I will have all my SSRs caught up, meaning every SSR will be at least all their masteries unlocked. And then Slater, we had this discussion about him yesterday. I do not know much about him. Apparently, he increased his crit rate or something like that. I should have probably read the kit before I unlocked his masteries, but is what it is. I don't even know under which weapon it is. I probably should have asked that kind of stuff. Increases damage dealt to stun enemies. That helps. By what? 20%? Alright. Not bad. Reset normal aggro. That's hilarious. The crit damage increases when bleeding. That was the thing that they were talking about. Inflicts bleed for 20 seconds. A fully charged attack decreases enemies' crit resistance. Are there any other characters that apply bleed as well? And then once they're bleeding, crit damage is increased by 30%, which means you want a high crit chance. Enhanced bleeding. Let's see, regular old bleeding. That's also for 20 seconds. 10% of damage dealt 1 second. Decreases healing efficiency. Enhanced 20%. Deep wound increases damage taken by 25%. By 25%. Okay. And then restores 2 tag points when activated. He seems like a legit character for SR. Maybe I need to explore the SRs more. To be fair, I have not explored them at all, so he can be my like first window into them, I guess, is what we'll say. Not to mention the fact that I have how much potential on him. Like he is armor wise, I should think him. But yeah, so I have plenty of incentive to work on him. With Drake, potential similar. If I get these other 3, I'll have him P5. I don't know that he's worth it, but just for completeness sake, I'm gonna do it. Yeah. And actually, where's my notebook? Did I forget my notebook? All right. So I had a plan. Okay. the Gila stream thing as well. All right. The other thing is I don't know which SSR weapons to like focus on crafting right now either. There's another quote unquote problem, but I guess these can be considered first world problems with regards to the game, I guess. And I wanted to do like an overview guide, like a companion guide to the Meliodas guide that I created, and then the Manny and the Jericho. I need to reopen up Jericho, or Manny actually, and figure out what exactly I want to say when it comes to dealing with her. I finally, for the first time ever, pulled an SR Lance that I could put on Gila. Whether I level that up or not, I don't know. I kind of want to finish his masteries and then like hunt for those later. So whatever gold I get in the next however long is gonna go towards that, and it's only one, so it should be fine. It's not anything extreme. I just need to keep that in mind as I do this. Okay. So events, which will dictate how I move. I need to go through that Love Dungeon Echoes of Hearts one more time. I guess you have to do it once a day and then talk to the woman, and that'll complete your daily missions for that event. At least that's what happened to me before. I need to go into the dungeons 2 more times to complete this weekly mission, season mission, whatever. Set a record in boss challenge rankings. That's not gonna happen. We already know. So we'll just leave that nonsense alone. And someone brought up in my comment section, and then they brought up a really good point. I didn't even think about it. In fact, I wonder if I can get to it with my phone. But they brought up a really good point about, I thought it was funky that when you went into the dungeons, they're resetting your skills and your tag and your magic points. And he brought up the point of the reason they're doing that is because not everybody builds up their gauges, their magic, their anything at the same rate. Not all teams are built the same. And if you have more money, more resources to build into your teams, then you will have an advantage when it comes to everything being reset. And that was a very good point. I knew something was funky about it, but I damn sure didn't put my finger on it. And then when he said that, I was like, yo, damn good point. Let me get to it. And I might, when more people join me, I'll touch base on that a little bit more. But yeah, what I meant with fair in quotation marks is that it's fair from the perspective of that everyone starts at 0 of 7 magic, so that players don't prepare a full magic gauge before entering the dungeon. With my quotation marks, I did mean that to hint at leaderboard still not being fair, because the magic gauge conditions for all players are still not going to change the large difference in paid characters' potential levels. What's up, Gojo? But even to that point, as you have the characters with more potential levels, the magic gauge being built up is going to be a little bit different, a little bit easier for those with stronger characters. Or am I off base? I don't think I am. Because potential, like different potentials, different stars in the potentials, different potential levels unlocks different things. And within that, there are like burst gauge advantages, magic stacking advantages, and. So everything starting at 0 is not necessarily a great equalizer now, is it? And I guess the character I could try to go to illustrate this as we talk through it, or as I talk through it myself. Max HP, amplifies normal scale power by, and these are all quote unquote within range of free to play players, just not for every single character, obviously. But amplifies ultimate move skill. Okay, let's go down there. And then this is using special attack increases the hero's darkness damage. et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This is where you can start to get an advantage if you don't pull him twice, right? Then we move over to these where the more and more these happen, the more and more whales are, you know what I'm saying? Amplifies passive power by 75%. Amplifies ultimate move skill by blah, 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 percent. Amplifies normal skill power by X%. What I'm looking for now, and this is just haphazardly checking, and I'm sure if I went to Daisy, she would have something in her kit, something in her potentials tier that would say, hey, look, if you get to this potential, then she stacks up her magic points faster, the 3 charges that she needs in order to nuke as a sword shield, for example. Ultimate move skill power up by 50%. Yeah. Still not quite balanced. As I'm looking through this, it's like, But I did say from jump, this leaderboard stuff is like for whales. It's 100% for whales. And that's cool because the rewards at the end of the day are superficial. So let me go back to the quote unquote, let me go to the leaderboard now and see what it does. I think you can pull it up even here. Yeah, for some reason. Wait, I could start tracking and go to it. Why can't I just, okay, whatever. This is me being overly complicated. I could have just gone to events. But it seems I don't want to be outraged by it. I'm not. It's just kind of I just have a smile on my face like y'all know what y'all doing. And I don't think that they're hiding it by saying these are superficial awards. There's just going to be titles and stuff. So if that's what you want to see, knock yourself out. So boss challenge. Like, for example, you think I'm going to get past the Abyss Dragon in 25 seconds? I just laugh at that. No chance. No chance. Although team combat class is 82,000. I'm surprised at that. I don't know why I thought those numbers would be higher. Hauser, Daisy, Manny, and Meliodas. I am going to make an alt account where I will invest only on Mel, or P10 Mel. So I'm guessing you mean, but then that alt account can't be free to play, right? So that means you're going to take all the resources you get and put them into Meliodas with the hope that you pull him 7 times in that first 21-day window when you're allowed to pull for him like that. That can't be free to play. That can't be done free to play. Not a P10 Melee. Not within that 21-day window. That's it. I don't think they give you enough star fragments to even make that many pulls, especially if you have to go to the guarantee. My second account is a P9. Really? What's up, Bunny? Really? That seems insane to me. So you get enough of those star fragment resources in order to do it. Okay. I stand corrected. I would have bet a non-insignificant amount of money that would not be possible. Even P9. So I guess P10 is right there. That is like right there in range. Damn. Okay. All right. I give it up to you. I was wrong. I could not see it. I couldn't see it. But I'm not a second account kind of guy anyway. But like, okay. I give up the ghost. This also, the other part that surprises me here is, and this is me needing to study more the SRs, is how many SRs are being utilized in these dungeons to get through the content. And one of the funniest things is that Escanor is nowhere near this top 10. Oh, no, there he is. He's number 9. Number 9 is the first sighting of Escanor for the spider nest. That's funny. It's going to be P10 next week. If I get some more tokens, pull to P8 and then buy 2 potentials from, Shop. Fair. Yeah, because as okay, no, yeah, because as you're pulling, you're getting this stuff back up. Okay, fair, 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 fair. The point I'm making with Escanor is that I've been running Escanor in this team with the idea a minute and 22 seconds. I hate you guys. With the idea that he's fire, he burns. It should help. It should help get through the spider's nest. Apparently, no. Apparently, no. There's Clotho. We love you, girl. Um, so working on Gila to do the burst gauge is still a good idea, but trying to pull in Escanor, he was, I mean, I thought you putting out burns, plus he does heal, it keeps you alive. That was a thought process. Clearly, that was a wrong thought process. Um, I'm saying, okay. Grimoire Daisy is a monster, apparently. My first thoughts on her were completely wrong. Okay. I guess this is actually a pretty good cheat path to figure out what characters you can use to get past these bosses and dungeons. Because the second I see this right now, I mean, I don't have Bug to any level that I'm going to use him, and I should probably look at Bug later. Bug and Hauser. I need to study my SRs more. We're getting into that later. We're getting into that now. Bug for like Spider's Nest. Why is that good? It's Bug, Daisy, Gila, Melly. Bang, bang. My P9 Melly can get past almost all fights. I wouldn't be, because with I think mine is P5, and I can't remove him from damage dealer. He does every damn thing. So P9, I can only imagine. Hauser for the dragon. And it feels as though Daisy stays running with everybody. Daisy, Manny, Millie. Okay. But now this gives me like seeing what other people have done. This gives me like a roadmap of if I'm ever going to do something against this nest, that's what I need to work with. And then when it comes to time space junction, ooh, I definitely don't have Deirdre, I think is his name. That's how you say his name. But they're running Clotho, Manny with the staff as well, Grimoire for Daisy. You cleared it in 14 seconds? Come on. Am I really just that off on these SRs and how valuable they can be? Come on. That makes me feel bad about myself, like I'm stupid. That is insane to me. Okay. Sector 4 was, yeah, because Sector 4 doesn't come out till next Wednesday. All right. So I found the SRs I need to study next. That's Bug, Hauser, Slater. All right. Okay. We'll see. Some of that is insane to me. Time space, first section, 3-star. Second section, 2-star. Third section is on the way. I think you guys even told me what to do about the first section. I don't think I can do anything with it. Let me see. Section 1, I still have your notes here. This is what Yang Wolf did. Manny with the dual swords. Escanor for damage, overtime amplification, Daisy and Slater. Then Sector 1 also was Melly, Slater, Daisy, Gila. Then Bunny, you did Meliodas, Manny with the staff, Gila, and Tiore for the healing. I might have to sub out Tiore. Let's give it a shot and watch me get my face kicked in on Time Space Junction. Why not? I'm not a good enough player to do this, but we will see. Like, I'm terrified of doing this. All right. Legit scared. Okay, so why was this team the team? Sector 1. I think the build I'm gonna try for. Well, I have been working on Gila, and I did just give her that Breath of Glory weapon. Manny with the staff. I would like for her to use a better staff than this. I'm assuming that the Manny with the staff is supposed to be centered around her putting out her priest blessing and increasing the damage around the character. Correct me if I'm wrong. Hero detail. I kind of don't want her to use this staff going in. Level 40 SR stuff. I mean, like, I'll do it, but I think I need to put some more investment in her after I finish that last mastery on Drake. Um, I do have Daisy. I'm tempted to put Daisy in place of Tiore. I do need the heals though, which may lend itself to having Clotho in there. Elaine for the barrier. Meliodas longsword, blah, blah, blah. If the enemy is resistant to fire. For shield, magic charging Tiore. I don't have Tiore on anyway healed. And Manny staff, but not dual swords for dual swords for second one. So yeah, I have Manny with the staff. I don't have Tiore, and I don't plan on working on her anytime soon. So the replacement that I have to get for Tiore was gonna be, if I'm talking about heals, is gonna be Clotho, or leave Elaine in and do barrier instead. That's the debate. That is the debate. I just do not like this staff being on Manny. I feel like I should do the other staff, but that part doesn't matter because I'm literally bringing out. I'm assuming that the Manny staff thing is like you're literally bringing her out, do the priestess blessing, get that crit damage, get the whole thing around with crit damage, and then dip. Oh, and Gila. Ooh, I almost messed this up. Okay. Why are these levels still so low? Oh, Daisy. I wanted Daisy in its place of Elaine. She gives 2 orbs of magic and almost 7k healing. Okay, I hear you. I hear you. What's up, Kev? You actually showed up at the beginning of a stream. What's up? Is that one support to attack one controller? Guessing at symbols. So we have one, I guess, support, 2 support. If you're talking about Manny and Daisy, sub DPS is Gila, and then damage dealer is gonna be Melly. Manny and Daisy you want in every team. It feels that way. It feels that way. Now I'm wondering about whether or not, going into hero details, whether or not I should use the, but she's never going to attack. You're bringing her for strictly like set up things and get out, right? So the power level being higher might be useful. The idea that I'm having, that I'm not finishing my sentence on, is giving her the Breath of Glory staff. Giving that to Manny and letting her run with that. I do not have any kind of sufficient armor on her or anything, so I want to refine this, but we need to do the Drake thing first. All right, whatever. I guess this is it. I don't think it's strong enough. And I probably will still get my face kicked in, but it is what it is. Yeah, but I only have her at P4. I only have Manny at P4. Boo. Boo. And I got freaking Gila at like P8. Like I stay pulling a Gila. That feels like pulling a Gila sounds like a album, like a rap album. Yeah, P7. All right, like that matters right now. That doesn't matter right now. And Daisy P5 gives crit damage. Where I don't know. I only have Daisy P4 because I stopped pulling for her. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have her P4. Yeah. So P4. Meliodas, I think I have P5 if I'm lucky. I think. Yeah, P5. And then Manny P4. So the highest is P7. Shield is good too. But don't you want Gila to be your damage to your sub DPS here, building the burst gauge? Because this is for, I mean, truth be told, I need to revisit what her shield does. I haven't looked at it in a minute. I gave her that shield and I was using it. Then when I figured out what to do with the rapier, I never went back to the shield. All right, I'm going to run in there with this. We're not talking about winning. We're just seeing. I already know what the business is. I'm not even thinking about how to execute anything, actually. I ain't even gone through that in my head yet. Move out the way. And what's this super close camera angle now? Can I get, like, can you bag back? Give me 3 feet, man. Can you bag the back, bruh? And then we can do, oh. This is a lot of stuff on the screen. I can't see what's going on. I'm trying to stay out of the circles. I'm trying to stay out of the circles. Retry. I'm glad they added a retry button. What genius thought that up? Let me stop being mean. All right. So this. Run away. Run away. This is resistance to fire decrease. We like to see those words. No, get away from the death. Enemies with fire resistance. Then we can use Gila's shield, which gives shield as well as magic charging, so that burst can be activated through combined ultimate. Actually, I wonder, am I allowed to change? Yeah, because they let you do this. So they won't let you do it here. So I got to exit the dungeon. In other dungeons, you can just come here and like edit your team, but I guess not for time space. So let's look at Gila's kit real quick and then go over that. Okay. Enter. So we'll go down and then we'll go into her kit. All right, so funnily enough, I never actually did one of these for Gila. Gila's first use of second skill or burn, then do normal attack, then first skill, which will give more burst. Or you can use Gila's rapier for burst, do 2 times burst, and on third rotation, do combined ultimate. That was the one I was going for beforehand. But here's what we're gonna do. And I'm not even on my desk here, I have in my notes. And I'm asking this legitimately because I do need to do some videos. I do need to work a little bit too. Work. Right? This whatever. Let me not go down this road because now it has to be officially. Anyway, and I'm gonna run this by you guys, all 3 of you, as I'm going through this. First things first, I need to do a guide on Gila. And I know it sounds weird, but part of me doing the guides also teaches me the characters. So it's like a twofold bonus to me. I only really know her through her rapier. I used to use her shield, sword and shield, I think. And then I switched over to the rapier once Escanor came out and I never went back. Number 2, I need to do the overview, the companion guide for Melly. And then I need to do the companion guide for Manny, which are just like 2 quick videos. Gila is the full on, I need to go through every weapon of Gila and figure out what I'm doing. Part of the reason I'm saying that now is, as you guys are teaching me what to do with her, and I appreciate it, I feel like as I exit this now, I should go look at Gila and her rotations for both burst and for sword and shield to be sure that I'm doing it correctly. And I don't know if that's not it. Battle trial. But I don't think they let you recommended training. They don't give you the rotation for how to do their actual, like the Gila rotation that you're talking about now for her burst gauge on a rapier. You can figure it out, but you don't get the trial like you did with Clotho, so you can just like go through the trial, try it out, and then be done with it. So I guess the best way to go about it now is, do I have anything up while I'm sitting here talking all this BS? No. All right. So I guess the best way to go about it is check free training, pull her in, and then see if I'm doing her rotation correctly. Use first, second skill. When you guys say first skill, I'm assuming it's triangle circle. First, second skill, or burn, then do normal attack, first skill, which will give burst. But that's on the sword and shield. Okay. So let's go ahead and pull in Team Gila on it. Bet. We'll do the sword and shield thing first, since that was the first suggestion, and it seems to have the clearest rotation that I can see that's written out right now. And then Gila, you're using the first, second, normal attack, third rotation. Okay, so burst, second skill for burn, then normal attack for her passive, and then engraved passive, first skill, which gives huge burst. And this is what you're talking about with sword and shield. So we go second. Why is the camera angle so close? Why? Thank you. I don't get it. Okay, so we're doing second, basic attack, and then the first skill. All right. To be fair, it doesn't do it nearly as fast as the rapier, but it's not exactly a slouch in that department. So we do the second, then normal attack, and then the first skill, which is not going. The first skill you're supposed to get attacked. If we go to we have to do this to leave the dungeon properly, right? This is kind of lame. This part is kind of lame, because I just wanted to switch the weapons. Okay, I was just about to ask, is that rotation for the rapier? That's what I was trying to get back out. I was just about to ask if that rotation is for the rapier. All right, so it's second, normal, first. There's your burst. I did not mean for that to rhyme. Okay. And I still screwed it up. Can we just not reset the dungeon? Ugh. All right. As a matter of, also. Oi, the nerd is strong in this one. I'm literally sitting here about to write notes. I have to be, well, not have to be, but anyway, let me not even say that comment. So we're talking about the second, which is the normal skill, which poor naming. I'll never not say that. Normal skill. Then we go to the basic attack, which is the normal attack. whatever, dog. Basic. And then we go to the first, which would be the special. All right. Hey, back. If I, honestly, what I should do, and they actually did a good job with this. I'm actually really, really happy with this, and I may go do this after running in this dungeon one time. They changed the cooldown times on the field bosses, and it is so much faster. And thank God they did. It's like 30 seconds before it respawns. I absolutely love the fact that they changed it that much. That kind of changed my opinion. It's still stupid, but it kind of changed my opinion on like the whole farming situation for these field bosses in terms of like getting craftable items. It is still dumb. I do not hold back on that video I put out yesterday. But at the same time, I'm so happy that those field bosses come back so much faster. And this has me tempted to go find the field boss that's like weak to fire and then trying to do this. Anyway, so second, basic first, which is seems like a pretty simple rotation. So, boop. Oh wow. Well, is this even right? Basically, let's just pull Meliodas in and wreck face. Is this even right? If I'm being real, let's go to. Yeah, let's go ahead and exit this, and we'll go to like a field boss and do that. We don't have to pick up the cube. We can just kill it and be done with it. Who is the field boss I want to take out? The easiest, sadly enough, is Bonacro because he doesn't really move much. So that's the perfect place to go test some things out on a larger scale enemy. So we'll go test out this on him real quick. Even though I feel like Bonacro shouldn't be messed with. He's over there just chilling in the water. Why are we messing with him? Leave him alone. It's his ocean. All right, so let's get Gila out. Get locked onto you. And then we can go here. Oh, I did that wrong already. Why is it? What is up with this camera lately? What is up with this camera lately? So we're just going to do this for a minute since I already messed up the rotation. We go here. Bang, 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 bang. Then we go here. That got the burst gauge up pretty dadgum fast. Let's rotate over and keep tagging you up a bit. Yay, that got the burst gauge up pretty fast. All right, so then we come back through with Meliodas just to end this story real fast. Oh, I didn't hit my haste. I did not hit my haste. I thought I did. So we can just do it again. This skill, bet, tag up. Why is it not thank you? Tag up, triangle, or a square, sorry. Tap, tap, tap. Boop. That hurt. No. Anyway. Okay. That seems like a pretty simple rotation for her burst. I like it. All right. So then now that we've done that, oh, I have to hurry up because I forgot this thing comes back super fast now. It's so cool that they made that much faster. Big props to that. I will give big props to that. There were some things that bugged me, some things that didn't. All right, so now on the sword and shield. What you were saying before with the sword and shield was enemies with fire resistance. Then we can use Gila's shield, which gives shield as well as, I guess it's not going to regenerate as long as the cube is up there, as well as good magic charging. So that burst can be activated through combined ultimate. Oh, I see what you mean now. When you were writing this, burst first, burn, and then do normal attack. First skill will give more burst. When you put Gila burst, you were referring to her with a rapier. You weren't referring to her with okay. I thought you meant okay, that's my fault. I thought you meant when you said Gila burst is that if you want to try to get some burst gauge up with the shield. That's what I thought you meant because you referred to the shield in the first comment. Now I see what you were saying. Okay, cool, 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 cool. She does grant shield when she's holding sword and shield. And then her last weapon. What is her last weapon? The lance. I mean, I know what it is, but is there anything that she does with the lance that is significant other than maybe mediocre support? Blazing Double, Impulse. Impulse increases crit chance by 3% for every one stack. While in demon form, if the hero has a maximum number of impulse stacks, normal skill cooldown decreases by 1 second when attacking an enemy with fire burst activated. Increases crit chance by 3% for every stack, so you can get 30% increased crit chance while in demon form. Sounds like that crit chance is only going to be for her then. Inflicts damage equal to 183% of attack, then gains 2 impulse. Inflicts damage equal to blah, blah, blah. Decreases normal skill cooldown by 50% when landing a critical hit. So if we can stack up enough impulse, we can lower the cooldown of shot bombs by 50%, which would make it 7.5%, 7.5 seconds. Inflicts damage equal to 246% of attack, then gains 2 impulse. She gains impulse basically everywhere. Inflicts damage equal to 276% of attack. Increases damage dealt to enemies with burst activated by 30%. And then enters demon form. Okay. She wants people to build the burst gauge. She wants fire to build the burst gauge, or she wants a fire burst gauge. And I guess you would use Tristan for that, right? She's not doing it herself. So this would be, funnily enough, with the lance, I thought the lance was typically a support weapon. With the lance, she sounds like she's a damage dealer. Is it? Am I off base? Yeah, no, she's a damage dealer with the lance. Okay, why did I think that? I guess it's coming from Jericho. Yeah, because on the lance with Jericho, she's support. Okay, I had that backwards then. So she's trying to be a damage dealer here. Which I guess okay, but... Now, do I want to... I think I will just take the lance from Jericho and put it on her and then give it a shot, see what it looks like. Hey, come on now. But then who am I using to build the burst gauge? Like nobody. There's nobody to build the fire burst gauge that I have on my squad. Only one who could do it is Tristan, and I have absolutely nothing on him. Absolutely no tings. Okay. And I heavily doubt that she could build her own burst gauge. Other weapons. Well, here's the thing. I don't have any of the SRs built to do that. I haven't unlocked his masteries yet, so I don't even know what. Why is this? Why? Wait, hold on. Why is that? Timeout. Why does Slater have both of his elements removed from his second and third weapon? They're grayed out. I did the whole like not unlocking the masteries, but I did the masteries like to this point where they would be unlocked. I guess I have to do more here to figure out what it is. Okay. Well, it doesn't matter now anyway. Oh, there he is. He's back. All right. So the problem with using her as a DPS with the lance at the moment is I do not have a sub DPS for her. That will allow her to get the burst gauge up enough to where we have a fire burst gauge and then she can exploit it with her lance. That's the main problem with using her with the lance right now for me. She's, however, increasing her crit chance a lot, which makes me lean towards having her use the Breath of Glory lance over the over the oh no, sorry, using the Black Flame lance over the Breath of Glory. Whereas with Jericho, when she uses the lance, it is support, which would make me think, what am I doing? Which would make me think if she's out there, you want the normal attacks to help, but she's putting up shield and everything, so I don't even know how important the witch lance is to her. Okay. All right. So I'll keep this lance on Gila. Jericho hasn't fallen out of favor, but she's just not being used nearly as much. And then I will create another SSR lance for Jericho somewhere down the road. Still have no viable sub DPS for Gila. Escanor can't do it at all. Damn. And she's not doing it for herself. Mm-hmm. When she tagged in, she only does 150. Okay. I cannot do a proper guide on Gila as a damage dealer without Tristan. That's obnoxious. And I don't want to put the resources into him now. So I will use Gila to beat Time Space Junction, but I can't do a guide on her without having Tristan. That sucks. All right. Okay. I'm going to have to think on that a bit. I have to think on that a little bit. I'm trying to think of any other, and if you guys can think of one, let me know. I'm trying to think of any other workaround that would let me be able to use that lance. But everywhere it said in that lance, if I'm not mistaken, everywhere it said in that lance, it was like fire, if the fire gauge is activated, not just any old gauge, which would be a darkness trait anyway, but I'm just talking myself through this, hoping beyond hope. Yeah, fire burst. But to be, it only, okay. Inflicts damage equal to increases damage dealt to enemies with fire burst activated by 30%. So it increases the damage, yeah, on that skill. Normal skill cooldown would also be a lot less with the fire burst damage. So you could still take her in as a damage dealer, but she's optimized when she's running with Tristan. So it's not gonna be great. I can still show it, but it's not gonna be anything like, hey, this is awesome. All right. I am losing it. Okay, here we go. So the lance. No, let's go sword and shield now. I cannot control my own. There we go. But this part I already knew. This is part of the reason why I liked her. Increases allied heroes fire damage by 30% if a barrier the hero applied to self is active. Um, Immune to reactions decreases damage taken by 65%. Taunts nearby enemies while the stance is maintained. Reflects 45% of attack when hit while the stance is maintained. Maintain stance for up to 10 seconds. When hit 5 times while the stance is maintained, the stance is removed, inflicting damage equal to 65% of attack. Okay. Grants all allied heroes a barrier equal to 20% of max HP, inflicts damage equal to 100, blah, blah, blah. Tag in, shield drop. And then for 10 seconds, increases fire damage taken by the enemy in range by 20% and inflicts damage equal to 8% of attack every 0.4 seconds. So we run her with him with sword and shield as well. That changes nothing. It's going to be best running him with her with rapier, of course, because they both put down burns and they both then benefit from it. But okay. What happened here? Oh, we got our reward for the day. Time to claim our orbs. How many of these do I have left? And I just got Gila, so I'm not anywhere near a pity pool. Annoying much? How about a lot? And do I have another 5 anywhere that I could pull? I don't think so. We'll see after this one. I think I already pulled for this. Yeah, I did pull for that. All right. Why not? Let's get an SSR Lance. Lies. Lies you tell. Oh, Teode, speak of the devil. Apparently your healing is awesome. Okay. No SSR. Oh well, pity. All right. Let's try this out. We're gonna make something to drink, and then I'm gonna try to do a I'm learning Gila with you video, or a few videos. Okay. All right, guys. So I will be right back. Let me go fix I say coffee. I shouldn't be drinking as much coffee, but it's probably gonna be a coffee. Let's just be real about it. Okay. Let's try to do this. Let's try to do this together. Let's see what happens. All right. 3, 2. I have to be honest. 100% honest. I think that the most useless weapon on Gila is the lance because that's the one that she's using as a damage dealer. I have not touched the lance, not in particular in any serious way with Gila because really the weapon that you really want to use her for is a rapier. However, if you're here and maybe you don't have many other options, I'm going to go down the kit and I'm going to give my tentative recommendations on what you should do with Gila. Let's get to the video. All right. So coming back in 3, 2. Hi guys, I'm Garvey here, and this is a 7 Deadly Sins origin video. In this video, I am going to go down the first weapon for Gila, which is Lance. You will have other separate videos for her sword and shield and her rapier, and then an overall character guide that I'm going to put out alongside this. But this is actually the first video I'm recording. And then full disclosure, I was talking with Bunny and Gojo, and I have been going through what I should be using in terms of a team for Time Space Junction. Part of that was going through the kit of Gila because we're going to use or at least I'm going to use the rapier build for her. There's benefits to the sword and shield depending. That was the first thing I did use for Gila actually when I first pulled her. Never, ever, ever touched the lance, right? So reading through her kit with them briefly now, I see what it's trying to do. And there is one problem that I'm going to have to cop to right now. Part of the issue with having Gila as a damage dealer, there's two parts. One part is universal. Meliodas is the best damage dealer in the game. So more likely than not, you're going to, depending on who you have, if you do have Gila, you're going to build her to be you can build her to be the support, but most likely you're going to build her to be the sub damage dealer. So you're going to build her with the rapier. So her having the lance, using the lance really is not just cosmetic because you do get an attack, 30% attack boost from having a SSR weapon or any weapon equipped in that spot. But that's one thing, is that you're probably not going to really lean towards building her unless this is recorded May 22nd, 2026. Maybe there's been some kind of event. Maybe there's a thing where she is best as a primary damage dealer and Meliodas is out. But as of today, nah. Next up is part of her entire kit. She attacks harder when the fire burst gauge is activated. The problem with me doing that is that my Tristan, the one that we would probably be using to build this burst gauge as at this time, I don't have anything on him. So I will say this, when you see her damage, which it'll probably still be good, just know that as I'm reading through the kit, it will be better, or it would have been better if I was using Tristan to build up the burst gauge. Okay, so that is the second part of this. Now we're going to go ahead and get into the kit of the lance. And starting off with Blazing Double, the passive. Gains impulse for 30 seconds with each attack. Impulse increases crit chance by 3% for every stack. So if you can get it to 10, 30%, while in demon form. If the hero has the maximum number of impulses stacked, normal skill cooldown decreases by 1 second when attacking an enemy with fire burst activated. So there's the first thing you're going to see with the fire burst. You want the fire burst gauge built all the way up, activated, and then she comes in as the DPS, like it is with most DPS. Once that happens, then you're going to be able to have the normal skill cooldown is going to be reduced greatly. Now, this lends itself to the crit chance being increased. This happens a couple times in her kit, which is why I'm leaning towards the Crimson Flame, the Black Flame weapons, because they give you added crit damage. Going down to the normal attack. Inflicts damage equal to 159%. When in demon form, inflicts damage equal to 188%. And then you see the hits respectively. Special attack. Inflicts damage equal to 183% of attack. Then gains 2 impulse. Demon form. Inflicts damage equal to 215% of attack. Decreases the normal skill cooldown by 50% when landing a critical hit. Normal skill. Inflicts damage equal to 246% of attack, then gains 2 impulse. Inflicts damage equal to 276% of attack, increases damage dealt to enemies with fire burst activated by 30%. Then fire drop, you dust your normal tag ability. And then the ultimate is it consumes 2 magic and it is just entering into demon form. Check. So basically here you want to go in, use the special attack, gain those 2 impulse, use the normal skill, get those 2 impulse, tag up with the normal attack a few times. You get it for each attack. Now, bearing in mind, the normal attack on the lance is going to be slow. You enter demon form, and then while in demon form, you inflict more damage. The crit chance is increased. Okay. So in my head, the best rotation involves hitting the normal skill first, then the special skill, because all they're doing is attacking and giving impulse. You do the normal attack a bit. How long does impulse last? For 30 seconds. You do the normal attack for a bit, trying to stack up more. Then you enter demon form for 30 seconds. And you'll have increased crit chance and decrease the ones. Okay. So that seems like the way to go. Because truth be told, the normal attack, the special attack, and the normal skill quite literally don't seem to do anything other than just give themselves impulse and do a normal attack. There's nothing like, there's no nuance within those skills. And then the demon forms are both just inflict damage and reduces cooldown, increases the damage dealt, and then one decreases the cooldown normal skill. Okay. All right. Coming back, 3, 2. Okay, I had to double check something as I was reading. I don't know if you could tell like the lack of confidence I had in my voice as I was reading it. Now with these characters, typically there's like a dungeon you can go through, or the newer ones you can go through and then check out their rotations. With this one, I was trying to figure out what the best rotation was for her lance as an attack, and it does not seem to be that nuanced. If you have something else that you can tell me, put it in the comment section. I'm not objecting to it at all, but it seems as though going into battle, once the burst gauge is activated, what you really want to do, hit normal skill, hit special attack, tag up the normal attack as much as possible to stack up as much impulse as you can, enter demon form, which then once you've entered demon form, you get that increase crit chance for every stack of impulse that you've put up there. And then you're also decreasing the cooldown of this skill. And then you go back and forth from the normal skill, special attack, normal skill, special attack, because the special attack should be reducing the cooldown of the normal skill, not to mention the fact that the normal skill is going to have a cooldown decrease for 1 second when you're attacking into the burst gauge. So it seems pretty straightforward. Now, again, as I'm going into doing this, like I'll do some gameplay right now because I haven't recorded any gameplay for this. The biggest issue I have, and it's really sticking with me, is that I don't have anything on Tristan to actually build the burst gauge up for a character to fight her. Let's get to the gameplay. Maybe I could put something on Tristan in the meantime, just so that it's representative and I can get like a burst gauge built up. But let's get to the gameplay. Be right back. Okay. Let's see. Can I do anything on Tristan that doesn't require me to waste resources? Weapons. Equip some weapons. Boy. Kind of want to take those off Jericho just cause. And then we'll put them back immediately. The great sword, I mean, I can just put anything. This part doesn't matter too much. I mean, it does matter for the attack, but this is just an example. Gila's going to carry everything. I guess great sword is the same bit. We could take it off Drake. It doesn't matter right now. We'll go back to Drake later. As far as his armor is concerned, we can just do whatever's recommended and strip it off of him later. Masteries, he has nothing. Potential, he has like 2 slots. It's funny, if I did his potential, he'd be P8 if I did the rest of them. That's hilarious. Let's see, we'll go here. Activate. All right, don't care. Okay, so now, I mean, is it representative of somebody who could be in a fight and not die immediately? I don't know, but we're going to give it a shot before we actually record it. Let's pull him back. Put him on the team to replace Escanor and see how that goes. We're going to need to go against a like relatively weak boss. Oh, he has like nothing. Okay. There's nothing else I can do to improve him, is there? Outside of actually working on his masteries and stuff, which I really do not want to do right now. It's 29,000, the worst, but I'm gonna have to fully build him. I don't think I need to. We'll wait. Let's see what happens when I take him outside. Oh, this is gonna be a problem. Actually, funnily enough, I guess it doesn't matter that much. It's not like he's gonna die immediately. Which he might die immediately as I'm saying this right now. Because his defense is gonna be so ridiculously low. Why is this not? He's not doing anything? Nothing. Nothing? No things. What? There's a bug here. There's an absolute bug here. Wait, what? There has to be a bug here. He's not adding anything to the burst gauge. And these are Gila's abilities, are they not? Hold on, let me do Gila real quick. Okay, so she's activated the burst gauge solo for him. And he can literally do nothing. He can't even add to the burst gauge unless I have him. Oh, wow. That is absolutely terrible. That is absolutely terrible. Oh, well, I'm not going to let you like punk me. We gonna finish this off. But wow. Can't believe I'm about to lose because of you, Tristan. Oy vey. I could just stick with this. Meliodas really needs help. Wow. Wow. Hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Okay. Absolutely hilarious. In a fight for my life now. Ugh. All right, there we go. Meliodas, can you finish him off, please? Please. Wow. That was devastating. Okay, so Tristan can't help us. Wow. That was absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. Where's my is there a healing statue around here somewhere? Who you with? Wow, that was bad. Okay. No, sir. Sorry, buddy. We will remove you now. All right. Anywhere in Escanor's kit where we can make this work. Um, Not really. Oh no, this is holy, so he doesn't do burst gauge on this regard. Wait, why? Oh, because they can contribute, but they can't actually do burst gauge. But if you can contribute, normal skill is 184 on the burst gauge. I could activate the burst gauge with Gila, and then allow him to contribute with the sword. With the sword and shield, 325. That's attack gauge. Sorry, the burst gauge is 12. My fault. My fault. Burst is 150. Yeah. So then this on the sword is probably the best bet if I can activate it first. 26. No, it's not. It's sword and shield is even better than that. Bruh. Burst 38, 50, 150, 55. Sword and shield 12, 24, 150, 28. So it's the axe that I need to use to build up the burst gauge for him. That's funny. That is absolutely funny. Absolutely hilarious. Okay, so then let's see if we can go back down to old buddy and see what happens when I do it with Escanor first. Okay, then, oh, not what I meant to do even a little bit. But we can tag them in. Oh wow, I'm gonna kill him before we even get the burst gauge up. That's hilarious. It won't even matter at that point. All right. It will not even matter at that point. Thanks for the fading sun moment. Wow. Yeah, there's nothing that can be done about it. Yeah, about that. Okay. Buddy, buddy, buddy. How do we address it? Even if I go with Escanor with the sword and he's just building it with the sword, he's still going to kill. He's still going to kill him before we get any chance to do anything. Because they're not building up the burst gauge fast enough. So if I even activate it with Gila, I still need a stronger boss to face that I can control. It's not going to be the warden. Who else? I don't want to take that box either. Is there anyone else in this whole open world game? Don't want to try this experiment on Gallon. He's going to kick my face in, even at lower levels. Like, even here, you don't really want to play with him because he can still do it. What's up, you know? Not too bad, not too bad, not too bad. I'm trying to figure out. I wanted to do a guide on Gila. I know her first or her last two weapons are the best, and I use those the best. I was trying to figure out a way to use her lance in order to like just show it, even though I know it's a weapon that people shouldn't necessarily use. I was going through the kit and everything to make this guide for YouTube, and now, it's like if I don't have Tristan, I can't build the burst gauge. If I use anybody else, the enemies die too fast. That's the issue that we're having now. How are you doing? So that's what I'm trying to figure out right now. Is how exactly do I want to handle this? As a matter of fact, let me check out Bonacro one more time and see. Oh, he's not back yet because of the cube just being there. Oh, just got off the game? I was actually thinking today, since it is a Friday, and I did get all of my responsibilities done ahead of time, I might just do this stream, finish up the stream, and then switch over to NTE for a little bit and play that. Banging my head at the man, the spider. The spider. I had a video yesterday where I was talking about some of the farming they want us to do to craft some of these items, and I was like, what in the hell makes you think I'm gonna go at this spider 90 times to get anything? To get anything. I hate that thing. I hate it. I hate it with a passion that burns deep in my soul. I hate that thing so much. I hate that thing so much. I haven't hated a woman like that since my ex-wife. Like, I can't stand that thing. I can't stand that thing. And I will say this though, one plus of the whole like leaderboards designed for the whales out there. With no shade, put that money in. You did the spider 50 times for us for what? Why would you need to love yourself more? Why would you do the spider 50 times? Mm-mm. No, sir. I hate that damn thing. I hate that thing. 50 times. Unless I come up with some powerhouse team, and this is what I was about to show here for this whole leaderboard thing. Unless I come up with some powerhouse team where I can just like dog walk it, and then I will be like doing it all the time to like get out that spite and that anger. I can spend the rest of my life and never do that again. Or I can spend the rest of my life. But the plus side about this is that now I need to see, because apparently people are killing it in a minute 22 seconds. Not at all. And they're using Meliodas, Gila, Bug, and Daisy. And so I've already got, Daisy, Gila, and Meliodas up to a level built where it's cool. What is Bug doing there with his grimoire? And I'm gonna figure that out. And I'm gonna see if I can mimic whatever that is. Because if I can beat her like in 3 strikes and be done and happy, I'll do that all the time, because it's not even about beating. It's not even about like the rewards. At that point, it's just about me wanting to rub her face in the mud and just be like, I own you now. That's what that'll be. It'll be so vindictive. It'll be so vindictive. Anyway. It gives some type of buff. I can't remember yet. I'm sure it's like the there are a couple of SRs that now that I'm at the point of where I'm working on or finishing or whatever my last SSR. I need to start looking at the SRs to like make the guys that I like making for the YouTube channel. And so I was trying to think of the SRs to look at, and Bug now is one, Slater is one, Hauser is one, and Deidre, I think is his name, because he's here on Time Space Junction, and I don't know why, but that one. So I'm gonna try to figure those out along the way. But in the meantime and in between time, I still need to finish up guides for Gila, and it's looking like, if I'm being quite frank, there's no way for me to do a representative. And in fact, I'll record it now. I'm just going to record this part now just to be real. What I did try to do was I tried to put some resources into Tristan to have him build the burst gauge. However, he was still so low that nothing happened at all. So then I tried Escanor to see if I can get it built up. The other problem with that was they were winning so hard that the boss would die before the burst gauge was built up. Now, trying these experiments with like Galland and stuff aren't really going to go, because neither one of them is going to build up the burst gauge fast enough for me to be able to defeat Galland even at lower levels, just because of what he is and how he's built. So basically what I'm going to try to do now is run up on Bonacro. I probably should have done Scorpy, but whatever. Run up on Bonacro with just Gila and some shield and see what kind of damage I can do. Now, I'm sure I can beat him. This isn't like a question of that, but I'm going to try to do the rotation so that I do her normal attack, not a normal attack, normal skill, special attack, and then use her ultimate, get her in a demon form, and then do damage there. So, being just 100% frank, I want to build up Tristan. I'm going to redo this weapon guide just so that it's done properly. But at the same time, you're not bringing in Gila as a primary damage dealer. I don't see where that's happening with Meliodas out there in the world. Okay, so we're going to run up in here with Elaine giving us shield. We're going to pull in Gila. She's already in demon form. Quite frankly, I'm going to get into demon form immediately because I'm not going to be able to build burst gauge regardless. Ow, back up. So if this burst gauge was built up, fire burst gauge, then she would have an increased, crit chance of 30%, which is where that Black Flame Lance would be great, giving us that crit damage. So far, This is me playing her horribly. I do want to use the normal skill here. That's cool. And then impulse is there. So for every impulse that gets put up, I am still getting an additional crit chance when the fire burst gauge is active. I don't think, and I'm actually almost positive, having just read it, that I'm getting any crit chance benefits while the burst gauge is not stacked. But we're still gonna do this, bam, this, trying to dodge. Let's get the shield back up. Okay. And I think I'm going to go ahead and go into our demon form now. And let's see. It looks like we are getting increased crit. Because all of these are critical shots. Am I wrong completely? Was I complete? That was kind of boss. I like that. I got to admit, I like that in her demon form. Okay. I like that a lot. That was fun. That was fun. Let's get it back out there now that we have barrier up. So this does the okay. Hey, Gila, get up. What's going on? Let's get back in demon form. That's what's up. I like that part of it. I did like that part of it. You know what? I need to revisit something. Let's go ahead and do it. This is going to be the least, hey, organized part of the guide, because I think I just figured out something. To use her as a damage dealer without Tristan, still not going to be like the best, but she is doing something in there that I like, and I want to double check the passive really fast. So impulse increases crit damage while in demon form. So I was right there. So that's okay. So this is where I was wrong. I was thinking very, very carefully on the burst gauge, a lot on the burst gauge. Impulse reduces the normal skill cooldown when you're hitting into the burst gauge. Okay. However, going into demon form and for every impulse that's there, I'm still getting that increased crit chance. So that's still a big plus, and it's still a big thing of why I would use the Black Flame weapon instead of any other weapon. Crimson Flame as well, because you're getting that added crit damage. Going back, this is the same. In demon form, the damage is increased. It decreases the cooldown of the normal skill by 50% when landing a critical hit. If I've got this built up, we're seeing something now. I should put this at the beginning. If we've got this built up, right? If we have the impulses built up, I'm increasing my crit chances. We're just ignoring that whole hitting into the burst gauge and reducing the cooldown of normal skill, because now as I'm hitting into the enemy, I'm decreasing the cooldown of the skill by 50% when I'm landing a critical shot. So as long as I'm landing critical shots, then I'm reducing the cooldown of the normal skill. And that's the one that I thought was really cool, the bombs. Now it's increased damage when I go with the fire burst gauge, but as you could see, it was still a good amount of damage. Now being fair, my Gila is P7. I'm going at world level 4 bosses, so the damage is going to look kind of outsized, but this is still cool. This is where experimenting with and figuring out the kit is very important. So the problem that I actually had was when I ran up in him, when I ran up to fight him, I should have still done normal skill, special attack, hit up with the normal attack a couple times maybe, hit demon form, and then go back into doing normal skill, special attack. Special attack, if I'm hitting this, I'm going to go ahead and reduce the cooldown of normal skill, go back to normal skill, and in the meantime, keep hitting the normal attack. I like that. Okay. So the burst gauge not being there is not nearly the detriment that I thought it would be. It would be much better with it. The fire burst gauge would be much better there, but it's not nearly as detrimental. Or I went into it defeated, like, oh, I can't do it. Like I already had it in my head that it wasn't going to be good enough. It was still really, really, really good. Much better with the burst gauge, but Still not bad. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back here, going to heal up a little bit, and I'm going to go attack Bonacro one more again. I'm sorry, Bonacro, you are my favorite, honestly. But yeah, they got a thing against sea turtles, I guess. I don't know. But I'm going to go back at him one more time, being sure to go normal skill, special attack, then normal attack a few times, hit demon form, continue the attack, watch how the crits stack up, and hit normal skill as much as I can while hitting those critical shots. All right. See, we're getting there. We're getting there. We're getting there. I told you guys. I think I told you guys that this is the beginning. This is me also learning the Lance side of her kit. 100%. Uh-oh, we got somebody that needs to be banned. Uh-oh. Does anybody ever fall for this stuff? There we go. Banned. All right. Now we're going to go back into Bonacro with that new knowledge. Or with that understanding, I should say. I'm going to let you go ahead and get all the way up out of here. I'm going to go ahead and put this barrier up. We're going to go back to Gila. I see that we have demon form. I'm still going to hit you with this first. I'm still going to hit you with the special next. I'm still going to try to stack up a few more of the impulses because it says every attack is doing that. And now I go into demon form. I only got 10 up, which means I should have 30% increased attack, which means I can use my normal skill. Uh-oh. Let's go, 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 go. Critical shots should be reducing the cooldown. I like. I'm running out of demon form time, but I should be able to hit this attack one more time. We like that. We like that a lot. We like that a lot. Thank you guys for watching and sticking with me through this journey. This guy was more of a journey of me learning Gila's Lance more than anything else. Because I really didn't use it. I did have fun doing this, though. I will say that. All right, we're stacking this up. I'm not even having to go back to the barrier anymore. Let's go ahead and get here. All right. I kind of want to do this and then end on this note. Enter demon form. We got a tsunami coming in. No, we don't. No, we don't. It don't matter. It don't matter. I'm the tsunami. Fire tsunami. What? I know dad joke. Forgive me. I am a dad, actually. Okay, so do that one more time. Game. All right. That was okay. I like that. Meliodas is still the better damage dealer. I get it. This rotation isn't too difficult. Once I figured out that the burst gauge wasn't, I mean, it's important, but once I figured out I could still get a good amount of damage out there and some positive things going without the burst gauge, it wasn't as bad as I thought. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time. Okay, so there's that one. That was much better than I thought it would be. I just had to go back and read it. I got too hung up on the whole burst gauge thing. Alrighty. Next is using Gila's sword and shield. This is the weapon, because I think she was my first SSR, if I'm not mistaken. And this was the weapon that I was using in the very beginning. Increases our ally fire damage by 30% if a barrier the hero applied to self is active. Wait a sec. Because then this makes me think that perhaps I could run her with Diane. Am I getting increased fire damage? Oh no, increased fire damage, not increased fire damage, not increased fire resistance. Sorry. So increased fire damage if a barrier the hero applied to self is active. Okay. All right. Immune to the reaction, damage taken by 65% while in the stance, taunts enemies, reflects the attack, etc., etc. Grants all allied heroes a barrier equal to 20% of max HP for 20 seconds, inflicts damage equal to blah, 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 blah. And then for 10 seconds, fire damage taken by enemies in range by 20%. Inflicts damage equal to 8% of attack for 0.4 seconds. It seems as though I want to get that barrier up to have increased fire damage by 30% before going into if I'm doing a barrier, putting that up so that I'm immune to reactions and decreased damage taken by 65%. Taunts enemy, I'm reflecting the attack. Then for 10 seconds, fire damage taken by enemies. Then go into that and then pull in Escanor. And in this scenario, the team I'm going to use is Escanor with his sword, because that would be the most fun. Although I think Escanor with his sword and Gila with her rapier are like the better pairing. All right, let's give this a shot. So we can start recording. All right. Coming in 3, 2. We are now in a much more comfortable place, and Gila's kit for me. The sword and shield. When I first pulled Gila, this was the weapon that I put on her at first. I still think it's good. I think it's very, very good. There's other better options out there, but I'm going to show you how to use this so you can get through some content. Let's just get to the video. All right. Coming in 3, 2. Hi guys, I'm Gravy here, and this is a 7 Deadly Sins origin video. In this video, I'm going to go over the sword and shield weapon with Gila. As I said in the intro, this was the first like weapon / SSR that I had. Not like first, but among the first. And I was running her with this. I think it is a good weapon. I think it's good on her. The rapier is better. And I did have some fun with the lance in that previous video that I made. But I do think it is a good weapon. There are better options. She is best with the rapier in my opinion, and there are better options in terms of what the sword and shield do. But if you don't have those other options, this isn't a bad one to have. So what I'm going to do now is go down her skills, and then I'm going to go into using her in game. First, Burning Protection. Increase all allied heroes' fire damage by 30% if a barrier that hero applied to self is active. Now here's the funny part. The first thing I thought of was like, oh, Diane gives herself a barrier when she hits the burst gauge and, you know, does 5, and the barrier, that doesn't matter because is she doing fire damage? No. So with this one, it is fire characters that give themselves barrier, then you run up in there and like tag them up. I think, and I need to double check this because Tristan has become up again. I think Tristan gives himself a barrier, maybe Tiore. I need to double check that before I just say those things like haphazardly, trying to remember their kits, memorize their kits. Flame Guard Slash. This inflicts damage equal to 89% of attack. Straightforward with the basic, which they call normal attack. Flame Rampart. Rampant? Let's say Rampant. Immune to reactions and decreases damage taken by 65% while the stance is maintained. Taunts nearby enemies while the stance is maintained. I did the taunts thing I never got because you're like the only one on the field. I mean, I guess if you're running parties, maybe that's the difference there. Anyway. Reflects 45% of attack when hit while the stance is maintained. Maintain stance for up to 10 seconds. When hit 5 times while the stance is maintained, the stance is removed, inflicting damage equal to 65% of attack. Okay, so we can reflect damage so long as we maintain the stance. We're holding that button down. And then after 5, it's going to break the stance, basically. And then we're going to attack for 65%. Grants all allied heroes a barrier equal to 20% of max HP for 20 seconds. Inflicts damage equal to 164% of attack. So you're going to give yourself, when they say all allies, like, you know, that you can switch into that barrier, and give yourself, this is what I'm thinking. Extra fire damage, we're going to find out because we're going to use Escanor. Next, inflicts damage equal to 72%. Cool. On the tag, and then here for 10 seconds, increase fire damage taken by enemies in range by 20% and inflicts damage equal to 8% of attack every 0.4 seconds. Now, this is what I'm trying to figure out here in this rotation, right? Is which one to hit first. And I think it's going to be the ground ignition, where I give the barrier, and then that barrier increases the fire damage. Then I do the ultimate, and for that 10 seconds, fire damage taken by the enemy is increased. Then I'm gonna switch in Escanor with his axe. I want to use his sword, but it's holy, so it does no fire damage. Boo. Anyway, did I just boo holy? Uh-oh, I shouldn't do that, right? Anyway, so basically what I'm gonna try to do is run in, do a couple normal attacks, whatever. Then run in, do the special attack, do the normal skill, the ultimate, and then switch in Escanor. That's the plan to see if we get more damage out of it. So let's get to the battle. Be right back. All right. So we'll try to run it one time first before we actually do it. Bannercrow just keeps catching these L's. Let's see. Should I go to a different boss? I mean, he is fire. And I think Scorpy takes... No, it's ice. It's ice, my bad. You move a lot. Well, but so does the Toad. However, the Toad was the thing I hated the most until Shakira and the Spider's Nest showed their ugly faces. So we'll go ahead and beat up on him a little bit. Let's do that. Okay. Probably should have healed a little bit, but that's fine. That is fine. Escanor does need to run with his axe, though. I think, yeah, I have great sword on him at the moment. There we go. Let's see how this goes. All right, so we come in, special attack. Hold that stance, hold that stance, hold that stance, hold that stance. Uh-oh. Did not get through. Circle. Escanor tag in. Actually, I want to have her back in. We'll hold the stance now as we take this damage. Cool. Damage is being reflected. Bet, bet, bet. She goes back out. We do this with the ultimate. Oh. Oh, why'd you do that? And then Escanor needs to come in. But when I did that circle, yeah, watch out. All right, so here. All right, so stance maintained. This should grant the barrier. Then I should be able to come in with Escanor and do more damage. Oh, boy, oh boy. There we go. And actually, I should probably display something else as well. It's not really, doesn't look, I mean, I guess it is reflecting the damage. You can see it. Now she enters this demon form. He does have the barrier up, so is he doing increased damage is the question. He is hitting a lot of crit shots on him. All right. Yay, new record. All right, so let's run over here right fast. Oh, and he was healing at the same time. That's nice. Okay. So coming back. 3, 2. Okay, so basically I just ran this the one time already. When it goes into her lance, it seems as though she enters another demon form as well. And it has me questioning whether or not when I switch the characters out here, does it actually translate to having this power? Increases fire damage taken by enemies in range by 20% and inflict. So it should say like the fire damage that they are taking. So that's what I had to double check to be sure of. Just because the form she enters, I'm like, is it talking about just only her? It appears to be that it works with Escanor. So what I'm gonna do actually in pursuit of that, of understanding that, oh, it doesn't reset if I have the character there. So that's fine. We can go to another field boss real quick and try it out. Why not do it against the red demon? He doesn't move that much, right? This is probably a bad idea. Let's go. So the idea of what I'm going to try to do now is I'm going to try to run in with Escanor at first, do his moves, see how much damage they do, then come back, run what I need to run with Gila with Sword and Shield to increase the damage and put up barrier, and see if there is a difference in the damage that is being taken once her ultimate is run. It's always, they're resetting the things and I don't like that. All right, anyway. Quote unquote fair, right? Anyway, sorry. So we're coming in here. Okay, so we're looking at 2,400 being the max, 1,900, 2,800 for these crit shots. Okay, cool. Let's do that. Boom, 4.6K. There's a burn applied to us. Now I'm bringing in Gila. We're gonna tap, tap, tap a little bit. Tap, tap, tap a little bit. Actually, I want to bring in Escanor one more time. But no, we already have it charged up. So triangle, 1, 2. We're reflecting some of the damage back. We get our barrier up. The enemy now is going to be taking more fire damage. Now we bring in Escanor. Whoa. Whoa, he's doing 52K. Wait, what? I must be seeing this wrong. I just saw like 52,000. His normal attacks now are hitting for like 4,000, 3,500. These aren't even crit attacks. Wait, what? That can't be right, man. You can't be serious. That's what really is going on right now? Get back. Get back. Get back. Hold up. Okay, so now the barrier's up. We're putting him out there. Oof. This is those moments where I need to record stuff because I'm seeing some much higher numbers now. Okay, now it's like back to 1,800 and all that other stuff. So, well, 3,900. So it seems clear that the attack is a good bit higher when I'm doing this. Get out of here. Come on, hit me. The barrier's up. We're running that ultimate. Cool. And now let's see how much damage you take when I come back in. That was 30. Well, that was on the tag ability. Let me be real. 44 is what I'm hitting for without the crits. We have a lot of fire going on, but this is also part of Escanor's kit. I think, if I'm looking back at this, I think I need to re-record this. I think so. Because it looked like we were doing a good bit of increased damage. Now, another part of it is when the fire burst gauge is activated, you're going to do more damage because that's just what happens when the fire burst gauge is activated, is your damage is increased. However, before the burst gauge was activated, which these are neither one of them are building the burst gauge, it seemed as though the attacks from Escanor were doing more damage once you hit that stage. Let's see. I would love, and this is one thing I shouldn't have done this haphazardly. I do like the idea, or I do love the fact that Or I need to test the fact of whether or not it was just while she's in her. That's still a demon form. I know they don't call that under this weapon, but it still looks like a demon form to me. Okay. Mm, let me see if there's another boss we can do. The other ones are too weak. They're just gonna die so fast. I guess Banner Crow we go for. I guess we gotta go at him. Hmm. Wait, if I mine silver right now, and I think there's a ore, there it is up there. It's so sad I have this stuff memorized now. Or is this iron? I have to do this however many times while it's raining. Sorry, guys. Oh, yep, it was silver. Cool. All right, so now we'll go back over here. So the idea here being, I tried it with the red demon. We're going to try it with Banner Crow now. It seemed as though, and I'm going to run in there with Escanor first. It seemed as though Escanor's damage increased once I was able to get the quote unquote rotation, the one that I'm trying to do with Gila off, which was doing a special attack, normal skill, hit the R2. The enemy is supposed to get reduced, like, are supposed to be more susceptible to fire damage, pull in Escanor and do more fire damage. So the idea here is I'm going to try to go in there with Escanor, see what the max numbers are. And just on this, so 24k, 26 for a crit shot. Yeah, 1800 for a crit shot there. 5-2, whoop whoop. We're getting increased damage, but 34, 1800 for the crit. Okay, fine. We'll run this one time. Oh, I tried to run it and you interrupted me. Now I got to sit here for 12 seconds and wait. So rude. So rude. All right. I wanted to see what the normal skill would do. That did not show me much at all. I could not even see that number, but that's fine. We're going to try it one more again. Then we're going to pull in Gila, let her do her thing to try to booster us. That did not seem like a lot. Those are like very small numbers. Okay, so then once this tsunami is over, we pull in Gila. She's supposed to stand here in this dance. Oh, he's not even attacking. This is not helping us at all. Oh, those small waves, and they are reflecting some damage back, which is adorable. All right, so the barrier's up. We're running the ultimate, which did seem to hurt him a good bit. And now we try to come back in and do damage. Now the crit shots I'm doing off the basic appear to be 3,600 now, which more than the 30%. There's 7,200. The attack is increased. Okay. The attack is clearly increased running this with Escanor and Gila. Apparently both of them like to just take damage and say it doesn't matter to us because they both have this ability. So reflecting the damage back while staying in this stance. Okay, fine. I thought I wasn't supposed to be able to be moved, but whatever, dog. Don't lie to me. We come back here. Increase this damage. And I think we can see that the damage is increased there. So thank you guys for watching. When we're giving the full verdict of this, what would I say is that the weapon is fine. It's fine. It's fine. But is this the one that I'm going to go to for Gila? No, that's going to be the next weapon. So we got it to work. We got Escanor to do some increased damage. We got her to do some decent damage. But the weapon I'm looking forward to showing you guys is the rapier. So that's the next video. So thank you guys for watching. Please like, please subscribe. If you don't like, just drop in a dislike. I'm okay with that as well. I'll see you guys next time. Let's go ahead and stop that. All right, so we'll do this. Gather these things right fast. And then for the rapier, it's a different little build there. So we'll go to team. Actually, this should be fun. Just change Gila thing to a rapier. Okay, so record. Coming in 3, 2. Okay, so finally, this is the weapon that I was excited about. I made the commitment that I'm going to try to do a guide for each of the weapons. However, I think if you saw the other 2 weapons, you'll see that I was not excited about either one of those. The lance, okay, it's damage dealer. You're not bringing her for that. Sword and shield, I mean, you did put up some barrier, and I was able to get some increased damage on the attacks. Cool. The rapier is where she's at. This is where you want her to be. This is what you want to use her for. You want to use her to build up burst gauge. Let's get to the video. All right, coming in 3, 2. Hi guys, I'm Gravy here, and this is a 7 Deadly Sins origin video. In this video, so finally we've gotten to the rapier. I honestly I would prefer just to release this one, but I did want to touch base on those other weapons. They're good. This is the one that she's best at. Is she the best burst gauge builder in the game? I mean, no, but like going by her rotation is still not bad. It's still really, really, really good. So what I have been using her for is to build up the burst gauge on Galland, then running in there with Escanor, taking everybody out, right? Well, taking everybody out, not really, but you know what I'm saying. But she tends to build up the burst gauge really fast. Plus, thanks to the help of Bunny and Gojo, I got her rotation down for her burst gauge, and it's not even that complicated. So what we're going to do is we're going to read through her kit, then we're going to run her with Escanor as her being the sub DPS. And I don't know, I might do both. I might run it with the great sword, which I know is holy, not fire, but still, and then run it with the axe as well. But anyway, let's just get to her kit. So prominence. Increase burst gauge by 30 each time the normal attack hits a burned enemy. Inflicts 2 burn stacks for 20 seconds when the hero activates the burst gauge. I like that. I do like these damage over time, like the debuffs. I love all that stuff. Inflicts damage equal to 92%. When in demon form, inflicts damage equal to 151% on the basic attack, which is called the normal attack. That's always going to bug me. Inflicts damage equal to 122% of attack. Additionally, increases the burst gauge by 150 when attacking a burned enemy. You're noticing a theme. She is going to lay down a lot of burns. So is Escanor. Inflicts damage equal to 187% of attack. Inflicts burn for 20 seconds. And then hold on, demon form down here. Inflicts damage equal to 160% of attack. When attacking an enemy with 3 or more burn effects, increases burn duration by 5 seconds. That is cool, actually. Anyway, on Blazing Burst. Sorry, guys. I've been talking a lot. That should surprise no one. Inflicts damage equal to 223% of attack. Inflicts additional damage equal to 150% of attack when attacking an enemy with max defense reduction caused by burn. That's in the demon form. Otherwise, it's inflicting burn for 20 seconds. Blazing Slash, that's a normal attack. And then on the ultimate, like with everything, she enters demon form. I gotta say, let me double check this. Greatly fills objects fire gauge based on the charge level. All right. Anyway, So then the rotation that was really recommended for me to run is her normal skill, her basic attack up a little bit, and then run her special, which this is putting out the burn for 20 seconds. Normal skill, hit him up a little bit, the basic, and then hit up the special attack. So I've applied a burn. We're gonna hopefully get more burns here. Inflicts 2 burns for 2 seconds. So I've already applied a burn here. We're going to attack a little bit more, hit into that burn to increase the gauge. Then go into demon form, I would assume. You could even go into demon form and then do the same thing. Do the same thing. Just hit the normal skill. Hit the special attack. And then hit the normal attack. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go into, I don't know if I dare do Gallon. Gallon is a pain. He really is a pain. Maybe I'll do that now. And if it's so terrible, you'll never see it. All right, so let's go. Be right back. Fine. Coming in 3, 2. Okay, I got to admit, I split the difference. I'm just going at a lower level Gallon. I split the difference. I got worried. I was like, and to be fair, to be frank, I still haven't like really gone at the Abyss Gallon yet. I haven't even like looked at it because he scars me. So I haven't at all like gone at him. I'm just hitting the basic. I'm gonna pull Escanor in right now. I pushed the button and I didn't get it. How dare you? How dare you? Well, now I can go ahead and do what I want to do. So circle, hit the basic a couple times. Up. Where you at? Gallon? So then go ahead, tag up. The burst gauge is filling very quickly. And then we're going to come in with Escanor and do this increased fire damage to him. Let's go. Now, should I bring in Meliodas? Of course I should. But we're going to try to beat this all with fire. Right? We're going to try to beat this all with fire. The additional burns does help Escanor as well. Do what he's going to do. And we can stay healed by doing it this way. This is probably the approach I need to take when going at Gallon with Abyss level Gallon. Come back in. Oh, we're running away on this side. Let's go ahead and do this. Tap. I hit that rotation incorrectly. What I should have done was normal skill, then special. So we're about to do normal skill. And you moved out of the way. How dare you, sir? Then special. And you moved out of the way again. You are not a friend. And then we're going to run into demon form. Attack. Normal skill. Oh, we can't go out because, he's about to hurt us. Oof. We got a few burns on him. And we're no longer petrified. We can do this now. And take this damage from him. Come on, hit me. Bet. All right. Ooh, Escanor. It's okay. We're healing. And now I want to get Gila back in. Still hitting that wrong button. This is me messing up her rotation. So now I got to wait 9 seconds. This is me screwing up her rotation. So this isn't on her. This is me immediately hitting the wrong thing every single time I'm supposed to hit the right thing. Stacking up the burst gauge. That got it stacked up. Let's get Escanor back in, especially since we're about to have to deal with this judgment that he's going to put down upon us. Yep. There you go. Now, funnily enough, typically what I do is I will come in with, What I do is I'll come in with Meliodas once the burst gauge is high enough. I'm thinking that, first of all, let's get Gila in here. Circle, then triangle, then tag up on the basic. Yeah, and let's get Escanor in. Bam. And there we go. I'm thinking that I should go at Abyss with just the focus of Gila and Escanor, which I haven't done. But that's how that worked. That was fun. We got him taken care of. Pretty straightforward. She's very, very, very good at the burst gauge. I still would lean towards Diane, but I think part of that is also the barrier that Diane provides once the burst gauge is built up. I'm tempted to go at Abyss Galland with this crew and then stay heavily focused on Escanor being there to keep the heals and then having Gila stack up that burst gauge and then just end it going back and forth between those two. As a matter of fact, I'm going to try that now. I've never done it before. I'm a little bit worried. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. My team is too weak, right? It's too weak. I'm worried. Escanor should be enough heals, plus I think I have the right armor on him. She should be good enough to deal with it. I'm going to run in there with Elaine having the shield, the barrier first. Here we go. Win or lose, I'm going to put this in the video. I'm saying that to myself right now because I know I'm editing it right now and I'm like, should I cut it out? But I'm not gonna. Hit me. Joker voice. All right, there we go. Now we put Gila back in, circle, triangle. So we apply that burn and we did not get the triangle, but that's okay. We already know what your patterns are, buddy. Oh, wow. Our health is gone so fast. Where did our health go? Escanor, help me out here, buddy. Where did the health go? Seriously, man. And why are you all the way over here? Don't duck smoke. Come back, buddy. Oh, burst gauge. There we go. Now, please tell me you're going to do that whole stand still for a minute thing so I can get some burns on you and heal. Please tell me you're doing that now. And now I can't do any more dodging because you're going to hurt me. Ugh. There we go. Oh, wow. We're about to be sat down. Oof. We are being sat down right now. Oh. However, I see a path to victory. So I'm going to try it again. Not now. I'm going to try it again when I don't have to I'll put up the video of me beating him. I see a path to victory. I misplayed a little bit. But thank you guys for watching. Please please subscribe. If you don't like it, subscribe and a dislike. I'm okay with that as well. I'll see you guys next time. I'm going at him again. Let's go. Hooray, Hawk Pass. Sure. All right, so let's do this now. We can do the final thing for Gila, and then we will be done with her. Okay, so. And 3, 2. Okay, so I've done the 3 weapon videos that I need to do for Gila. You're gonna notice that for 2 of the weapons, I am less than excited. They're okay at best, but there are many other characters that do things better. However, on a rapier, especially for building the fire burst gauge, there's nobody better at it. Let's get to the video. Okay. Coming in 3, 2. Hi guys, I'm Gravity here, and this is a 7 Deadly Sins origin video. In this video, so this is the overview of the character guide for Gila. I've done the weapons guide, so I'll do a video for each weapon, going down the kit, and then trying it out in gameplay. This time I actually tried it out without having the videos ready. And then I give you the overall view of Gila. Now, overall for Gila, we'll read her hero profile first, and then we'll get down into the weapons and then the armor, and then the recommendations of who I would run her with. The Vice Grand Master of the Kingdom of Lonliest, she was appointed to the position at just 22 years old due to her exceptional skills. She is prepared to do anything for Zeal, her only family. Oh, she did love her little brother. All right, anyway, so going down into it like as quickly, not even as quickly as possible, but it's pretty definitive, especially when you go through the other videos. So much so that like the first 2 videos, I'm tempted to not even release. I'll release them anyway. But with her lance, the first problem with the lance from what I was doing, I figured it out though. She can still do good damage. I was focused so heavily on the fact that I did not have a sub DPS to build a fire gauge, which does contribute to how good the lance is and the things that it can do to like reduce the cooldown of the normal skill, things of that nature. However, she was still doing a good damage rotation without having that sub DPS to build up the burst gauge to give you those added benefits, plus the added damage you get from the fire burst gauge just being active. That's part of the element of fire, where once that burst gauge is built, the benefit of hitting into the burst gauge is the fact that you get increased damage from the fire element. So as a damage dealer, I'll say this: if you don't have Meliodas and she's your only option, sure, go for it. But just be careful on the resources side of it. Don't do too much, because she's going to get replaced as your damage dealer really quickly. Going down to the Sword and Shield as support, very similar to the Lance. Actually, when I first got her, this was the first thing I had, was the Sword and Shield on her. So it's not the worst weapon in the world. It does give you barrier. It does decrease the enemy's ability to resist fire damage. You have increased fire damage against your enemy. I was running this with Escanor just to see like how the fire damage would perform, and it appeared that you were able to do more damage with your primary damage dealer once she got the barrier up and once she did her thing, once she did her rotation. However, same time, at this role where she is going to be providing support, the barrier was pretty thick. It was a good barrier, but I'm not really bringing her in for this. This gets, I think, replaced relatively quickly by an Elaine, by Diane, by Clotho, but that's the healing side of the support. But I think you get what I mean. So it does get replaced relatively quickly. Where she is best is with her rapier. Now, part of this is conditional, because there are enemies right now in the game that it is more beneficial to use a fire element based sub DPS when you're talking about like Sector 1 of Time Space Junction, or you're talking about building the fire gauge on Galland. It is based on that content. It does make the rapier shine with her as a sub DPS, and then typically I guess you would go with Meliodas as the primary damage dealer. In the example I did in that video, I was trying to use Escanor and just try to bounce off of the fire thing a little bit more. But this is her best weapon, right? She has a lot of utility because of that new content. However, for me, and I'm not trying to like poo-poo her, but for me, is she the best burst gauge builder in the game? I mean, she might be 4th, in my opinion. Best in the game to me right now is still Diane. Clotho is amazing at it. Jericho is also amazing at it. I would put her on the level of Jericho, like they're about in the same range. Getting a proper rotation did help me build up that burst gauge a little bit faster, but I do, and maybe it's also, it might be biased towards Diane too, because because it's earth element, and I like the idea of getting like the barrier. So I'm admitting that there might be a bias there. But just full disclosure, I do think that this is her best weapon. There's going to be content where it's absolutely necessary. I can't pull Diane into those scenarios I was telling you before. I can't pull Jericho into those scenarios I told you before. But if I'm saying like overall in the game, I would not say that she third. I think maybe third best out of those SSRs for building the burst gauge. And that's a tie for third. Could be fourth. All right. So giving that being said, I am going to hop into her armor. I'll be right back. Okay. Actually, I should go to other places for the engraving thing. All right, so there we go. Get off me. Are you standing on a mailbox? Sure. So with Gila, we already had this. Each hit on the ultimate increases normal skill damage. Actually, you know what? I think it might have even been increases buff duration on impulse. That's clearly for your lance. Restores the tag gauge by 150 when hit by a taunted enemy using the tag skill. But this is the... Wait a sec. And then this one, each hit on the normal attack on a burned enemy increases the effect duration by 0.3%, decreases the enemy's fire burst resistance. So this is the one that I'm running right now. And she does lay down burn on that. But I thought that this one, the taunted enemies, wait a second. Let me make sure of something real fast. Where are you? That. Okay, yeah, I guess so. All right. Okay, so 3, 2. Okay, this is probably gonna sound kind of obvious, and and I think I may have just realized something. I might be that slow. Because the beginning of the game for me feels like it was forever ago. This was the first armor I think I ever like formed for a character, and it's pretty straightforward. Each hit on the ultimate move increases normal skill damage by 3% for 20 seconds. I get it. When you're bringing her in as a damage dealer using the lance, you're gonna do this. Cool. I'm not disagreeing with that at all. Actually, another thing that I was thinking of on the normal skill as well. No, it was on the normal skill, where you're going to end up having this kind of AoE attack that does a good amount of damage, actually. If you're trying to build around, and I'm coming to this conclusion like in real time. You get Tristan first, you get Tiore, you have Gila, and I think you even get Gila through gameplay in the game itself. That's what I'm starting to remember now. You can use Tristan, dual blades, build up her burst, and I said this in the Lance guide as well when I was like, I don't have Tristan built up, so it was hard for me to do anything with the burst gauge. But if you have Tristan built up, or you're going through the action of the main story, you don't have a lot of SSRs, you can use him with dual blades to build up the burst gauge, and then she can come in as your primary damage dealer, which she runs when she hits her ultimate move, it increases the normal skill damage by the 3% for 20 seconds, max 30 seconds as you keep tagging it. But the other part of it is that within her kit, her normal skill cooldown does get reduced. If you're running the lance, does get reduced based on other things that you're doing within the kit. So check out that video so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. But now that I see this, I get where her build comes in for this armor. I was not thinking about like the beginning of the game, which I should do when I'm doing these guides. I was not thinking about beginning of the game when you get her and you got Tristan, and Tiore running alongside you, where this would be convenient. There is no risk in building this armor really, because One, you get the 500 star fragments from it. Two, if you're building this and you don't have many other options, it's probably earlier on in the game. Get your armor up, get your characters protected, and get these passives. Next up is going to be increases buff duration for 3% by 3% for 30 seconds each time impulse is gained. Using the ultimate move increases normal skill damage by 10% for each buff duration boost. Stacks for 30 seconds. This is geared towards the lance. So the thing that you're going to do when you first get done with this is when you first get to sorry, I was pushing the wrong button. When you get to this ability where you're able to use your Star Guardian pieces, I should slow down. When you're able to use your Star Guardian pieces, is that this is literally going to replace this. This piece, this armor is designed to run with the lance. So you're increasing that impulse, which is increasing your crit chance once you get into demon form and helping you basically stack the impulses for a little bit longer, increase your crit chance, do more damage while you're in demon form. The next, restore tag gauge by 150 when hit by a taunted enemy. Using the tag skill decreases the skill cooldown by 30%. This is designed for Sword and Shield. And it's pretty, I still don't understand the concept of being taunted, but it must have something to do with the party members if you're playing in a party, because like her taunting, I'm the only one out there. They're coming at me anyway. But I assume this is designed for when you have a party, you can be on one side taunting the enemy and then everyone else can hit them from the flank. So I guess that's it. All right, next. And then this is the one that I run on her because I do want to use her rapier. She does put down burned. That does help run with Escanor, either with his sword or with his great sword or with the axe. Each hit of the normal attack on a burned enemy decreases the effect duration, or increases, the effect duration by 0.3 seconds and decreases the enemy's fire burst resistance by 1.2% for 20 seconds. So now the normal attack, which is your basic, where you're just tapping square, as soon as you hit into a burned enemy, is increasing the duration of that debuff burned by 0.3 seconds. You're hitting a lot. It's the rapier. It moves really, really fast. So you're increasing that burn, allowing you to stack more burns on the enemy. So with this one, perfect for rapier. It's the one I got. Absolutely love it. So that being said, at the end of the day, when it comes to Gila, I do like her. I think that she is kind of, it's not luxury because you do need her to get past some content, but she's kind of niche in the sense of I'm using her for that specific content. And if I didn't have a better burst gauge builder, then yeah, I would probably keep her around. However, the damage that she does from her lance, though it can be good and it can help you get through things, you're going to get a better damage dealer with Meliodas. You're going to have a better damage dealer with Escanor if you get him. Daisy's a better damage dealer. I don't know about Clotho, but you're going to have better damage dealers come through. As far as the sword and the shield in terms of support, good. If you only have her, it can be great in terms of getting that barrier up, but there's going to be better people at protecting your team, like Elaine, like Diane. I would even argue Clotho. So not the best there. And then when it comes to rapier, I've already said it before, she's not the best at building the burst gauge. She's good, but not the best. So overall, good character. Good character. Not great if you're on limited resources, free to play. I'm not saying necessarily hold off because at some point you're going to have to get her built up for that in-game content, for the time-space junction and everything else. However, invest in her enough to get through the acts you need to get through, and then don't be shy about replacing her with other SSRs that do a little bit better. Even though I like Gila, I do like her, but it is what it is. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, please subscribe. If you don't like it, subscribe and a dislike. I'm okay with that as well. Check out the weapons guides. In all honesty, check out the rapier one. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time. Blah. I don't know how I feel about all that. I genuinely don't. I'm going to have to rewatch that and see how I feel. I'm going to have to rewatch all three of those and see how I feel about it. Not exactly happy. But at the same time, it's like, I'm not exactly happy, but I don't think that's my fault. It's that I'm not happy with the. She's not great. She's good, not great. It is what it is. And I don't know if anybody else is going to debate me on that. That's the other problem. But it is what it is, right? Okay. I'm gonna have to rewatch it back and check, get some editing done. But I don't know that she's even. Well, I'm not gonna redo the videos though because I'm not saying anything incorrect. I don't know. I guess I just didn't like not being super positive about it. All right. Anyway, let's go ahead and get back to Jericho needs her weapons back pronto. We're not leaving that on Tristan. This switch, cool, and then the lance. We'll leave that on Gila for now. We'll equip that. Cool. All right. Okay. Okay, so let's just go ahead and keep working. How about that? Let's just keep on working. I guess we'll do Mel and Manny and then call it a stream. All right, so start recording. Oh, 2.5. This might be the last one. Then I might just call it a day here. All right, here we go. Coming in 3, 2. Okay, so it has been a little while since I've done my weapons guide on Meliodas. And when Clotho came out, I decided to do a shift and have like a overall character guide and then have all those weapon guides just stand alone as just further research. Since I've done that, I've decided to revisit Meliodas, what I've learned since I fully developed him, and where you should go in terms of armor, and then checking out the weapon guides still. Let's get to the video. So, coming in 3, 2. Hi guys, I'm Gravy here, and this is a 7 Deadly Sins origin video. In this video, I'm doing the overall character guide for Meliodas. So first things first is I'll touch on the weapons, all 3 of them at once, and give you like a real quick like overview of them. And then if you want more details on the weapons, you can go to the individual weapons guides. The concepts and theories in there still hold, even though I have them further developed now than I did there. The concepts and everything behind when to use the dual blades, when to use the longsword, when to use the axe, they all still hold. It's just that now I'm giving you an overall overview of that, then the armor, and then what I would say about him overall. So going into this, oh, and just so you know, heads up, I do have him P5. So everything's mastered, and then plus 2 pulls. Going into his basic info hero profile, I'll read it again. The owner of the mobile tavern, the Boar Hat, and the leader of the 7 Deadly Sins, a little bit of a pervert, who were wanted for the crime of attempting to overthrow the kingdom. Currently, he is traveling with Elizabeth, the 3rd princess of Leonis, searching for the members of the 7 Deadly Sins, who are scattered throughout the land. All right, so on season 2 of Rewatch, so happy I decided to rewatch. Season 3, dumpster fire. Dumpster fire. With baby diapers in it. Like the worst kind of dumpster fire. Anyway, moving on to the weapons. Gluttonous Soul Sword, Longsword. All right. This is where we can get into a little bit of a detailed discussion. And I say discussion because it's only one-sided. But give me your comments below. There's been this debate of and it's when I say there's been this debate, it's in my chat, I'm guessing it's on other places online, of whether you should use the Gluttonous Soul Longsword on Meliodas, or if you should use the Black Flame Sword. This is going to be, and I was trying to say it before, but hopefully I say it right this time, and not on the other weapons, but this time, is that a large part of this depends on how you have them built, how far you have the enchantments, the limit breaks going, and what is can be contributed. So I started with the Gluttonous Soul Longsword, and then shout out to Sinestra. She told me switch up, put the Black Flame Sword. The reason behind that was because, and I can show this really quickly. The reason behind that is because with the Black Flame Sword, I was going to be getting an extra 48.82% crit damage. And then there was a crit chance there as well. So when I put this on Meliodas, I believe I had like 68% crit chance and then 125, I want to say, about crit damage. So I'm critting more often than not, and I'm increasing my damage. That all made sense to me. I have extra crit damage, 125%, cool. And then I have extra chances to do it. I'm doing it more often than not. Cool. So I went with the Black Flame Sword. Now, the thing with the Black Flame Sword is that that is the part of it that is good. Because if you go down to the level 1, when you're trying to unlock the limit breaks, it is activating a burst, increases attack by 28%, and crit chance by 6% for 10 seconds. The problem with this sword on Meliodas is that he cannot activate the burst gauge. He can hit into the burst gauge, but characters with darkness cannot build the burst gauge. They can't contribute to it in any way. What they can do is once the burst gauge has been hit and activated, then they hit into that burst gauge. It changes to darkness, and then they wild out. So this passive wasn't really doing much for me, right? Coming back over to the, did not mean to do that. So then that, evaluating that, I was okay with this for the, sorry, I'm on the Gluttonous Longsword. I was okay with this for the Black Flame Sword at the time. Now we come back over to the Gluttonous Soul Longsword, and this happened yesterday, day before yesterday, right? Someone told me, yo, check your passive level, because when I had the Gluttonous Longsword, I did move it over to Manny, take the Black Flame Sword, put it on to Meliodas. Why is he rotating like that? Put it over there on Meliodas. I needed to check which level I had the passive at for this, because each normal skill increases darkness damage by 13.5% for 7 seconds. Previously, I was worried about using this because it has a flat number. I do not like flat numbers. I prefer percentage every single time. That's every damn game. So if you're telling me that I'm increasing my darkness attack by 3,453, even though that is a very high number, it still makes me go like, but it's not a percent though. You know what I'm saying? Percent scales with you, flat doesn't. So I always like look at that. However, now, and this was lower yesterday, but I've done another limit break on it. When each normal skill increases darkness damage by 13.5% for 7 seconds. Now, here's the thing that you guys may or may not realize, depending on where you are with Meliodas. If you are running him and he hits into the burst gauge, you can hit your special attack once if you have him at P5 or twice if you don't. And then you're able to spam the normal skill. So that means that I'm going to have multiple times of me using that skill while they're in the burst gauge, increasing my damage by 13.5% each time I run into it. And I'm saying I'm doing this 4 or 5 times. Like I don't know if I've ever gotten to like that, but like 4 times, 5 times, it's happening a lot. So that then changed my perspective of like, yo, let me back up. Using the normal skill consecutively within 5 seconds of an enemy with a burst activated increases ultimate move damage by 18% for 5 seconds, cooldown 15 seconds. Meaning, and I have done this like instinctively. Some people say do it, some people say don't do it. I would spam the normal skill over and over and over again, and then I would use the ultimate at like the very tail end of that burst gauge, which meant that this weapon is the best for me, because now that ultimate move damage is going to be increased by 18%. So I'm going into this much detail about this weapon because it's my favorite. I love it. He's the best damage dealer in the game. Surprise, surprise. Spoiler alert for the conclusion of this. He's the best damage dealer in the game. This is the best weapon on him in my view. So I got the most experience and most knowledge with that one, right? Going down, the axe. From what I understand and from what people have told me, the axe does a crazy amount of damage and can be really good. The rotation for me was difficult, and it was difficult to what end? It requires so much timing, like so much, like not perfect, but damn near perfect timing, that I was like, is the juice worth the squeeze when I'm using his long sword and just annihilating things? And I came to the conclusion that it wasn't. Does it do more damage? Yes. But is it worth when you get it timed exactly right and you get the rotation exactly right and then you run that rotation again and again and again? With Meliodas and the longsword, you can mess up that rotation. Like maybe you don't hit triangle enough or you end up with your normal skill on cooldown. Then you can still spam the special attack, right? So there is more room for error with the longsword than the axe, and the rotations aren't as complicated, and you can kind of play it on the fly. So to me, the axe is his worst weapon and the most not user friendly. The dual blades are very, very good for beginners. If you're just starting out in the game, having his dual swords, he does provide you, he does do a good amount of attacks. He does like reduce his own cooldowns, and you are gonna have healing. He gives himself some healing, so it helps like sustain you while you're still trying to figure out how to use the game. But beware, whereas most characters, when they run with dual blades, can build the burst gauge, he does not build burst gauge. Does not matter if it's dual blades or whatever. Look at the side. He is damage, damage, damage. That's all he does. That's all he gives a damn about is doing damage. So you're not building any burst gauge or anything like that. You're coming in with the dual blades, which are more flexible and more player friendly than the longsword even is, and the longsword is player friendly. So you're coming in with dual blades, you're doing a good amount of damage, you're moving really quickly, and you're sustaining yourself. So those are his second best weapons in my view, but the first best in terms of beginner friendly stuff. So those are his weapons. Check out the weapon guides that I have for him. Like I said, those guys were before I had like him fully realized or whatever, but the concepts behind them are still there. All right, next is the armor. And you know what? We'll be right back. Okay, so 3, 2. All right, so you'll notice if you're running around Leonis any amount of time that the majority of time you're gonna see Meliodas in either this white coat, which is clean, or this armor here, right? The reason for this is because this one goes along with his longsword. That's the most. I would argue. I'm sure it's the most used weapon in the game. I'm sure, not even just by him, but like in the game. Endless Drive. Each normal skill use inflicts additional damage equal to 25% of damage dealt by for 14 seconds when a burst gauge is active. Remember that whole normal skill thing I told you about where you can spam it and how like having the gluttonous sword there is going to increase the darkness damage? This is increasing the damage even more so. Restores the tag gauge for 400 if an attack target does not have a burst activated while the effect is active. I will say this: you can add to the tag gauge. I guess that means that when it expires, if you're still hitting it, then it'll give you that 400 into the attack. You do not bring out Meliodas until the burst gauge is up. Until the burst gauge has been activated, you don't bring him out onto the field. There's no need to. What's the point? You're just going to accidentally hit a button and not do something right. Just leave him on the side. Everything else sets up for that burst gauge. Then you bring him out and watch him work. But yeah, this is for his longsword. That's the one that I have. This is gaining Infernal Release. Increases normal skill damage by 50% for 5 seconds. While the effect is active, back attacks have 25% chance to decrease the special attack cooldown by 70%. Not even joking. I need to go back because I have to double check one thing. on his axe. A. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I thought. So, coming back. Okay, so repeating despair, gaining infernal release, increases normal skill damage by 50%. That's huge. While the effect is active, back attacks have a 25% chance to decrease the special attack cooldown by 70%. That is a massive amount of damage. This is an awesome reduction in the special and the cooldown. I do not personally want to go through the pain of trying to get and this is for the axe rotation down enough for this to matter. I don't. Some people will have fun, knock yourself out. I hope you accomplish that. For me, nah, not even for me. The reason why you see this other armor run a lot next to the white coat, you have this armor running a lot is because this one is designed for the blades. Demonic Showdown. Landing the normal skill on an enemy affected by Hellfire increases crit chance by 12% for 10 seconds. Now, the increase of crit chance, 10, is still good. However, on top of it, with the dual blades, he is attacking constantly. Like, he is getting so many hits. And so, by the amount of hits that you're getting in, it's a lot. So, like, and this isn't 1-to-1, but let's say the axe gets 1 hit for every 5 hits that the longsword gets, for every 10 hits that the dual blades get. Like, the dual blades, you're tagging up a lot, so there's a lot of attacks to get that increased crit chance, or to get that an increased chance of critting and having crit damage follow. Crit damage increases by 24% for 10 seconds if the enemy crit defense is reduced. So this is perfect if you are a beginner and you do want to use the resources. Would I necessarily recommend it in the beginning of the game? I was able to get by without, I don't even think this existed actually when I first got into the game. I was able to get by with just what he had in terms of like regular old armor. And then I went and built the new adventure armor with the Star Guardian sets. So I would argue if you're using the dual blades now to get by and you're working on getting to the longsword, which is the better weapon, I will hold off on that armor just to save resources for the time being because they're going to be scarce. Not necessarily scarce. You can go back and build it later. But to me, one of my problems is I want to figure out which set of armor goes with the weapon that I'm going to use the most because I'm not the type who switches out armor that much now in the game anyway. I do have 2 sets of armor for Diane, and I do have 2 different sets for Escanor as well. Diane's was an accident. But so it is possible I'm getting to the point in the game where I am doing that more. However, I would advise be more, I don't want to say judicious, but like just be more careful with your resources in the beginning while you're learning the game. And then you'll get through the content without that armor. I clearly did. And then pick and choose. Find other content creators who are talking about it, everything else. Don't just rely on one person. Come to your conclusion and then you use your resources on the thing that you're going to like the most. Because as much as I say like the longsword is the best and it's great and maybe you like the dual blades more. And maybe you're like, damn, I wish I hadn't done New Adventure. I wish I'd done the most malevolent mastery. I wish I'd done that instead because I prefer doing the dual blades to the longsword. Maybe, who knows? So I would just hold it a little bit. Nobody wants the axe. Somebody wanted the axe. Nobody wants the axe. Hold it a little bit. You don't necessarily need either one like early on in the game. I'm leaning towards the one that goes with the longsword, but if you like using the dual blades, knock yourself out. So in any case, overall conclusion for Meliodas is as much as I try to quit him and try to find other characters to be my damage dealers, there are other good damage dealers. Nobody touches him. He is the best damage dealer. Everybody gets him within that first 21 days. If I were you, if I had to go back, actually, and I think I did try to do this. When it first came out, Daisy was out as well. And I had to make the choice of, I pulled Meliodas. I got him. And then I pulled Daisy. And then the question was, do I go at more Meliodas or do I go at more Daisy? And in my opinion, in my view, you go at Meliodas as much as possible until it's over, right? I had two guys in my chat right now talking about, one of them said that on their second account, they have Meliodas at P9, and the other is like, I'm about to start my second account and do everything I can to get Meliodas to P10. So he's an amazing investment. He's not going to let you down, at least as of May 22nd, 2026. If you're seeing this like way later, I'm just saying now, at the moment, probably for the next 3 to 6 months. So in any case, thank you guys for watching. Check out the weapon guide if you want the other weapons guides, if you want like more in-depth details about the specific weapons themselves. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, please subscribe. If you don't like it, subscribe and a dislike. I'm okay with that as well. I'll see you guys next time. I felt much better about that video, but that was because it's a character I like. So actually, I think I'm about to call it. That was everything I wanted to do. I need to probably... Do I want to do another? No, let me not overdo it. I'm going to release the Bleach Soul Resonance guide today. I did the Gila guides. I think I'm going to watch those and be sure. I might re-record those. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% confident in those. And I don't know if it's me or if it's the fact that I'm not 100% confident in Gila. Because before the whole Escanor Gallon thing came out, I was stripping Gila and putting everything that was like worth the wild on Jericho, because I was not going to use her anymore. Now I do have to use her for certain content. So in any case, maybe that's what it is. I did 4 videos today? That was productive. And then I'm going to have to play with Manny some more so I can do her overview. And then I guess I'll do a Diane or a Lane guide maybe tomorrow. So thank you guys for watching, those that did. And I will see you guys perhaps tomorrow. I think I'm about to have myself a good